Today I want to talk about Texas's win against West Virginia as we get set for the Red River rivalry, and all that's coming up after the bumper.
What do you mean you don't subscribe to my son's YouTube channel?
Mama, no!
Just snap the damn ball, RJ.
What's up, kinfolk? It's RJ Young. I am not on a step mill. Consider hitting the like and subscribe button because I upload a video every single day. It's always OU related, college football related, sports related. We have a good time, and today I want to talk about Texas as we get set for the Red River rivalry. Now, most folks wanted both teams to be undefeated going into this game because it makes a much more marketable game, makes it outstanding to watch, and everything is to play for when you're talking about Oklahoma and Texas in the Big 12 championship, and they had played it last year. This will be the third time in less than a year that both OU and Texas have played. And while Oklahoma played a really sloppy game against Kansas, committing 8 penalties for 89 yards, bringing their season tally to 41 penalties for 452 yards, which is ridiculous, to which I've said you can't give up 90 yards of free yardage to a good football team and expect to win. Lincoln Riley has other thoughts about that, getting into aggression. It's another conversation. But I bring that up to say Texas is a good football team. We know they're a good football team. They played a really great LSU team to a 7-point loss at home. They lost the bulk of their starting secondary against Oklahoma State. They had a bye week to try to get healthy, but it's going to be some weeks before they get fully healthy. So going into this game against West Virginia, I was expecting one of two things. Austin Kendall to have an outstanding day, or Sam Ehlinger to have an outstanding day. And what I got was nothing of the sort. While Sam Ehlinger was good, right? Just over 200 yards passing, good game management. He threw a pick where he underthrew a pass, and then West Virginia defensive back made a play on it. But the story of the game was these defensive backs and this defense answering the bell in a very real way, all right? Look, you're talking about 2 picks from quarterback Deshaun Jameson. This is not the dude that you expected to be coming up with picks, right? And you got another pick from B.J. Foster, nickelback. And you got outstanding play from Anthony Cook. Talk about 7 tackles here. Not to say nothing of what Joseph Asai is doing in the middle of that defense. They played physical, they played fast, and they were giving Austin Kendall hell. The worst part about this is if you look at the scoreboard and you're just taking those interceptions that Austin Kendall threw and turn them into 6, you can see how West Virginia could win this game. And why a lot of people were saying, this is a scary game for Texas. This is the kind of game for which they could stumble. They're the 11-point favorite on the road. Morgantown is a squarely place for them to play. They don't have their full assortment on the defense. They have just the one scholarship running back that they like. I understand Kirk Johnson played, but you get what I'm going at when I talk about Keontae Ingram. But Roschon Johnson has made that backup running back role his. As a matter of fact, I think you really got to start talking about it as an or situation. And that's a really big deal considering that ESPN, 247, and Rivals all ranked Roschon Johnson as one of the top dual threat quarterbacks in the country. When he committed to Texas, signed to Texas, he's supposed to play quarterback. He's supposed to redshirt. He's supposed to be third string behind the one, right, Casey Thompson, who we expect to ascend to that role next year if Ehlinger decided to go to the NFL. That's a different conversation. But Roschon Johnson comes in, plays some tailback, and you can see they were salivating on the broadcast, Greasy and Levy, about whether or not Roschon Johnson was as big as Sam Ehlinger. Ehlinger is thick through the lower half. Roschon Johnson could be every bit as big, but more than that, he's become an outstanding running back. We're talking about a guy that had over 100 yards rushing against this West Virginia defense, and I expected running back to be a liability for them. As a matter of fact, I was making jokes about it to start the season, particularly when they played against La Tech, and he had to come in there in a very real way, and you just don't have what you want. But what have you seen? Devin Duvernay has answered the bell when Colin Johnson has been hurt. You've also seen Malcolm Epps, come on. You've seen Brendan Eagles, come on. You've seen Jake Smith, who I think is dynamic and I think has an opportunity to be one of the most electric players in the Big 12 Conference, not just this year, but next year, and certainly in his 3rd season at Texas because he's just that good. Just go watch his huddle film back from Arizona and you'll understand why they were so excited to get this kid to come to Texas, commit to Texas. Now, when you're looking at what Oklahoma's up against, you really do have to worry about this secondary. And that's what I wanted to know. Are the secondary, can they go 2 deep? Can they go 3 deep across the board? Because we know that Orlando likes to run with a nickel and dime package more often than not with 3 down linemen. But if you can't do that against what this passing attack was looking like and is looking like at Oklahoma with Jalen Hurts, CeeDee Lamb, and of course, Jada Hazelwood, true freshman, coming on in a very real way. Charleston Rambo has ascended to that number 2 role, and you know that Oklahoma wants to run the ball, and they can run the ball. You got to come up with some way to take away what they do well. And if you can take away the pass, you have an opportunity, right? Or so you would think if you're Texas. But that's really why I was watching this game like a hawk following Oklahoma versus Kansas. And it was a much more entertaining game if for no other reason than you had so many turnovers. I mean, 5 is a lot, and I didn't expect Austin Kendall to throw 4. This is a dude that Lincoln Riley swore up and down was in a battle with Kyler Murray for the starting job in 2018 and who backed up 2 Heisman Trophy winners. You got to know that he wanted every opportunity to go at a game like this against Texas at home, and he looked good to start the game. It's just he started throwing ducks, and Jameson started competing for the ball in the air, and that's really what was exciting to see if you're a Texas fan, is your defensive backs saw the ball in the air and decided it was their ball. And as I'm coming around to thinking, right, I was fortunate enough to hear about one of my favorite little people. Her name is Brave. She scored a goal. It's her first goal in soccer, and it was awesome, and I hear her mother telling me the story, but it was about how she got to the goal, right? And it was about coaching defense because, like most people, you take the play off when you ain't got the ball. When you're on defense, you're like, you guys play defense. I'll come back when it's time to play offense or time to try to go score. Well, homegirl started to play a little defense, and she got in her head what her mother had said, which is, hey, that's your ball. Go get the ball back. It doesn't matter that you don't have it in your possession right now. That's still your ball, and you need to go get that ball in your possession. You're looking at Texas defensive backs. They certainly had that mentality, and that's the sort of mentality that Alex Grinch is trying to coach up in the secondary at Oklahoma, and both have been playing better than they have played, perhaps, I know in Oklahoma's case, all of last year, and perhaps all of this year if you're talking about what Texas's secondary was actually able to accomplish in stats. But you know that both teams understand what this game means. It is always biggest game on the schedule every year, and I'm excited about it with the one loss for Texas coming against what many people believe might be the best team in the SEC and LSU, and certainly one of the best offenses in college football. I think they set a record for the most points scored in the first 5 games of a season by an SEC team. Now, we're going to get to see what it looks like when they go up against what is one of the best, if not the best offenses in college football in Oklahoma. I'm excited about it. All right, that's it for me. Deuces.